Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, really? That's great.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
I can't have any more? Why not?
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Looking for music that lifts your spirit and fills your heart? Experience the powerful sound of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square. Now streaming on all your favorite music platforms. Find the Tabernacle Choir on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Amazon Music, and Pandora. Let the music of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square inspire you today and every day. Whether you're at home, in the car, or on the go, enjoy the beauty of their world-renowned sound anytime. The Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square, streaming now.
Question of the morning. Caleb Wilson, the number 4 pick in the draft, scored 35 points. He made 7 3-pointers for the Bulls Summer League team in his first game in 5 months. He'd been out with a broken wrist. Is it too early? It is too early for buyer's remorse, right? It is. Tell me that is so.
Maybe not.
Randy, come on, man. After one Summer League game, he could very well end up being great, but nobody in the top 4 picks will have buyer's remorse. This was just a great draft class.
I don't know that, man. That sounds good.
It does sound good, but usually somebody in the top 4 has buyer's remorse. What are the odds all 4 guys are going to hit? Seems pretty slim. Something will go wrong for somebody. What that will be, what that'll look like, who the heck knows? Could be injuries. Could just be bad play.
This is all about three-point shooting is what we're told, man. You got to be able to hit a three-pointer. Dybantsa is 1 of 11 so far in his 2 games from 3. I think he's 12 of 22 otherwise. But 1 of 11, that ain't going to work.
That was melodic.
Well, it's the truth, man.
Bill said, I heard the criticism was he had no range. I guess that's been answered.
And he's 6'10", and obviously he didn't get an opportunity to play in the NCAA tournament and all those times when pressure really mounts. He was injured, unfortunately for him. And, would that have made a difference if he would have had a sensational tournament run? We've seen guys get drafted higher based on tournament stuff. A little dangerous to do that, to go strictly on a 2 or 3 week basis, but they get hot and all that stuff, and those things can happen. And, what do you do in those possibilities there where it's so intriguing, but yet they don't have any staying power and they wash out? Or Wilson is just, man, he was going to be great, and he's 6'10", and he can shoot like that. That's a commodity right there. There's no question that's a commodity, especially if you believe that three-point shooting is where it's at for so many of these teams and players and analytic dudes who never watch games. You don't blame me.
I read the quote. I thought of you when I saw it. Unnamed Eastern Conference scout.
Yeah.
Do they even watch the games?
Right. So he goes out there and just lights it up. And the game meant something special for him because he hadn't played in so long. None of these other guys had missed. When it was their time to play, they played in the tournament. And you can say Peterson didn't play as much. We understand that. But he played some more down the stretch. And it wasn't a big-time injury where you could, it was going to take a long time for him with those cramping situations that he had and issues. But for Wilson, obviously, man, no one's going to doubt that the kid was injured, couldn't play, blah, blah, blah. We all understand that. So you could tell he had a little more emotion going into it because it was his first time after returning from an injury. And I don't know his history. Usually when you're young, you don't have that many injuries, so maybe he hadn't had it, and it's the first time the game was taken away from him because of that. A significant one, no less. And, coach ends up getting fired over there. Could that have made a difference? Possibly. Who knows? So a lot of things were going into it there. The guy that recruited him gets canned, and they bring in little Mikey Malone. son of Brendan Malone, former NBA coach. Huh, shocking. So he had it. Clearly, that game meant something more to him.
He had a lot to prove, and he had a lot of emotion, and he had 5 months to psych himself up for it.
Yeah, and if he could shoot like that, wow. There's no way that in 3 or 4 or 5 years, whenever you want to look at the draft, everything is going to fall exactly in order.
Because that's not how the draft works. Scott says he had no assists, but it's very impressive. All 4 of the top 4 picks are rookie sensations.
Remains to be seen if they are.
And the no assists, when you're you and you're the number 4 pick in the draft and you're on a summer league team, keep shooting.
Well, assists. You're playing with guys who aren't going to be in the NBA.
Yeah. Right. So, number 1, you don't have to pass to them. And number 2, if you throw them a great pass, do they pass up the shot? Do they miss the shot?
Right.
Do they get fouled when they're taking the shot?
I know everybody loves anti-vaxxer, but assists are the most overrated stat there are.
Right next to steals. Steals 1, assist 2. Gambling and getting out of position on the steal.
I mean, to me, you're a defensive player. If you're a good defensive player, doesn't necessarily mean you gambled. Now, that's to take away nothing from Stockton because he was awesome.
Stockton would say that about steals. He did say that about steals. Got to be careful with those. Some of them are team-oriented plays, but some of them can be really selfish plays to put your team in a bad spot. Just depends. You have to analyze each one.
I would love to see Stockton play today. It'd be so fun to see him shoot 48% from 3 and score 27 points a game.
John, shoot more.
Yeah. Oh, man, when you make that kind of high percentage, which I have no doubt he would have made it, have that opportunity. He would have had fewer assists, but far more points with the 3-point shooting, and you got to take it. You just must. The game will cease to exist if you don't jack up threes.
The game will cease to exist. Basketball
As
will go
we know
away,
it.
replaced by team handball and dodgeball.
Replaced by not play your sport, man.
Soccer.
He immediately goes to that.
Brian says, what about John Tonje, whom the Jazz drafted last year and cut loose? He had 20 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, 3 steals, 5 threes on 5 of 9 shooting. Secured the win with a game-winning steal and slam dunk in OT. Maybe the Jazz should have given him a longer look.
Not 6'10".
Well, there's that. The size combined with the talent is awfully imposing.
Yeah. 6'10" guys don't normally get their shots blocked or even impeded from that distance. That's what really floats your boat there is the size.
Somebody defends you and you just shoot over them.
And if he has that shooting ability, yeah, that's what's exciting. 100% would be that great size. If you have that shooting ability with that size, wow, that's something to behold, no doubt about it.
Ryan says, I still think the Jazz got the best player in the draft, but if I were picking, I'd pick Caleb Wilson second. I think he's phenomenal. The biggest knock on him had been his shooting. Last night's performance suggests he could shoot 35% from 3. If he can, tightens up his hand a little bit, in addition to all the other things he does, he'll be an absolute monster.
Well, I don't understand that. They got the best player in the draft, but if I was drafting second, I would have taken the second best player.
No, I think he's saying that Caleb Wilson is the second best player.
Okay.
I would pick Caleb Wilson second. He says the Jazz got the best player. I think he says if he got to pick them all.
Dybantsa didn't take the best player.
That's what he's saying is that to him, then he's going to have Dybantsa and Boozer 3-4 in some order. That's how I took that.
Yeah. Dybantsa fire away in the summer. It doesn't matter. But I'd be very judicious with him in the regular season, or most especially in the playoffs. If they'll get to the playoffs. They'll play on a playoff team at some point. If not this year, next year, whenever. Because it's not his game. But he's so awesome on the other stuff.
All these guys are getting a lot of shots now. Now, depending on your team, you got enough veterans. With the Wizards and the Jazz, you can see there's other guys on both those rosters who are going to get shots. So I don't know that we're going to see these guys launching 18 shots a game. I'd bet against it.
Why not, if they're the best player?
I don't think they're going to be the best player. I think the shots will get spread around. But in any given night, they might be the best player, and maybe they will. Maybe they'll just take off, and by midseason, they'll be flying. And they will get their 15 to 20 shots a game.
I mean, if you're worthy of taking the shots, take the shots. And, I don't care how old you are.
Mickey dismisses all of this. One game is a small sample size, and one summer league game at that. So Mickey is not hopping on the hype train.
Yeah, but I think it's more than that. How many games did he play in college? How many times did you see him on the summer circuit? It's not one game. It's just a higher profile game, but it's not one game.
They got a huge rep before they ever arrive in Vegas.
Yeah.
Queen Carvania stood haloed by the morning sun. An army hung on her every word.
My champions, I have sold my chariot on Carvana. 'Twas a lovely SUV, an inexplicably queenly offer. They're even coming to the castle to collect it. Tonight, we feast! An offer you can feast on. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Bill, my prediction has been a Bulls-Jazz finals rematch in 2032. So Caleb balling out fits the timeline. Smiley face emoji. 6 years away.
6 years.
These guys are 25, and they're taking over the league. 24,
Yeah.
I guess, in the case of Boozer.
I mean, it's impossible to figure out what the league is going to look like at that point, but those guys would be far enough. If you're in your 6th year, it really doesn't matter if you're 25, 24, 28, and you've gotten the time to develop, which we anticipate all these youngsters being able to do. You should have a good read on where they're at that point. That seems to me like that's enough time, given the fact that they have the opportunity to be prominent players. If you want to go this year, okay, because they're rookies, you got to feel it out a little bit, and you got some vets there. You'll always have vets. Every rookie who joins the league will join a team that has vets. Some better than others, obviously, but that ought to flush out as you get 4th, 5th season, I would think.
Yes, I think that does
Doesn't mean
flush
you
out.
can't still be developing, but you also should mean that you've got it going on as far as who you're going to be, or you're showing significant promise and potential, and it's more than potential. It's actually there's cashing in and a realization rather than potential. You can still develop, I understand that, but I think that by the time these guys are at 25, particularly at the top of the draft, when they demand time and because of their talent, they won't be brought along slow beyond the first year, beyond the second year. So we're tripling that. We're going into the 6th year. I have no idea if the Jazz and Bulls are going to play each other in the finals, but the point is we're trying to extrapolate and see where they'll be. Wherever they'll be, there's enough time to get there at that point.
Many, many things can happen, and we'll have to see what happens to Spurs between now and then. Is Victor Wembanyama really going to dominate the league no matter what? Is he always going to be taking less money to put more players around him? And there'll be other teams that rise up. I mean, you can look at it every year and then go back and look at the standings 3 years earlier, and the teams that are on top tend to go down, and the teams that are at the bottom tend to have come up. So
Hey, he's a star. That's great, but he didn't dominate this year. So I'm not anointing him some dominator. He's not a dominator.
the dominator.
Not even. To me, it's not even close. He's got a long way to go. He's taking cheap shots. He's pouting.
He's elbowed a lot of guys in the head.
Yeah, and he
needs
wants to
stop
shoot
that.
20-footers, 18-footers with the literal finals game on the line.
Which every coach has to be thinking, at least he's not dunking on us.
I can get 10 guys to do that. What do you want to be? You might as well be 6'4". Your height played no advantage at that point. So I'm not sure he's capable of dominating. Maybe he will. But he didn't prove it this year, and this year is not a case-closed situation on the other hand either. He'll have plenty of time to develop himself and get better also. He's got a lot of physical advantages, and he had a nice season for sure. But in the final, against the Knicks, obviously, that doesn't have a real dominant defensive big man. He did all right, but let that team develop too. And maybe at that point in 3 to 4 years, the team is developed, and a Dylan Harper or whomever it might be with other guys. Wembanyama doesn't not need to be the dominant force every single time with the game on the line in order for that team to win. Even Jordan didn't do it every single time, but you had to have 8 guys on him.
Nobody does it every single time, and you get a couple guys who are really awesome. It's a little bit like you going to the track to watch the horse race when you're in 6th grade or whatever. Somebody looks really good 2 furlongs in, but at a half mile, another horse is in the lead and looks good, and that could be the way these guys develop. Shaq and Duncan passed titles back and forth. Magic and Bird passed MVPs and titles back and forth. If you take a snapshot any one year, you think this player or that, but over the course of the career, everybody's piling up MVPs and everybody's piling up championships. And then you finally get to the end and you pick one guy or the other. But along the way, plenty of highs.
Yeah, and Big Vic may have that, but he's got a lot to prove. I'm not anointing him anything. No one has anointed anything.
You got to do it.
Simply earned. Everybody who's ever done whatever has got there through one way, work and production. It's the only way to do it. And we'll see what he can do.
There are people dismissing this whole conversation. John, WTF are you talking about? One summer league game.
Yeah, again, it's not one summer league game. It's a snapshot of the most recent game.
Trent, summer league. We're not even talking about a real game. We're talking about summer league.
We're talking about shooting.
That is what we're talking about.
And shooting and I'm told points. 3-pointers really, really, really matter. And shooting is shooting. You can go to the park, and if you can shoot, you can shoot. And if this kid is going to shoot of this caliber, then maybe he should have gone higher. This is taking away from nobody else. I mean, no one's taking anything away from Olajuwon, but a Jordan should have gone 1.
Clearly.
Yeah, that doesn't take away from Akeem the Dream or Hakeem the Dream.
His 2 titles could have gone second, his Hall of Fame career.
You'd be ecstatic to get a player like that, but that doesn't mean he should have gone number 1.
And as you said earlier, it seems super unlikely that these 4 were taken in the correct order.
Yeah.
So who missed?
We're certainly not downgrading anyone that was taken above him, but that's the fun part of the basketball draft, No one's looking at, we got to wait years in the draft, the baseball draft that was a couple of days this weekend to know, this guy. And plus with baseball, too, you got the signability. They can go to college, blah, blah, blah. They'll see that they're trying to maybe change that, which I'm not sure I'm going to agree with, but we'll see how that plays out, And Mike Trout was drafted 28th. And because there's all, with baseball and in the NBA, it's all slotted, what you can get, basically, and it's a free-for-all in the MLB. So you got to factor that stuff in, and what do they want, what do you've got available, blah, blah, blah. But nobody really does that. In basketball, we do it all the time. It's fun. We go back, and especially now with the computer, you can just fire up your phone. Yeah, I want to see what the 2007 draft is, just to randomly pick a draft. And who made it, who didn't, who should have been drafted higher, blah, 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 on and on and on.
Yeah, and the top 4 aren't going to go in order.
Yeah, and it's fun to do. So all you people who are criticizing, you can just go to HE Double Toothpicks. The way I see it. There's one thing I wanted to add to this, man. Keontae George, the guy's just turning into an old man with his maturity. They did that in-game interview. He's really got it locked down. Everything he says,
saying the right things,
is so impressive.
Having the right attitude.
Yeah. And it's not about me. He's naming 5-6 guys on the team. What he's doing to improve and all that sort of stuff. And maybe that's just his natural progression as a human being and as a young man growing up and seeing the big picture. But if I'm Jazz management, And I got to say, man, if every time I listen to him do these public interviews, he just really seems like his head is on straight and he knows where it's going and what it takes to get there. And that's exciting. If I'm a fan of this team, which to an extent I am, that really excites me. Every time you hear him talk, you just think, that's what I want to hear.
Yeah, the only thing I disagree with there is natural progression. I don't think it is a natural progression, and I think that's why it's so impressive. I think that's why it's catching not just your ear, your eye, and your ear, which it is, but I think it's catching other people too, because that's not always what you hear. You know, there can be more me, and sometimes I think that's justifiable. But I think when you hear a young player, it catches your ear and eye because there have to be people to have a winning team and winning organization. There have to be leaders who have that attitude and who say those things, who observe those things and say those things and act on those things, or you don't have the complete group. Somebody has to be the grown-up in the room and observe all that. And sometimes there's got to be somebody who isn't like that, who is about me, and I'm going to go get a shot. I mean, Jordan was a weird mix of both of those things. But, you know, when he was smacking teammates, when he was popping Steve Kerr or whoever, or not even necessarily hitting, but just intimidating his teammates, you know, he wasn't that guy. There had to be someone in the room that had that attitude.
Yeah, but knowing what we know of Kerr, didn't he deserve to get smacked?
I think the answer to that is no, because even in Jordan's own retelling, in his own documentary, he's like, yeah, that was wrong. Give me the phone number. I got to call him.
He had it coming.
I'm hitting you in advance.
He had it coming.
I'm hitting you in advance for 2024.
And then it paid off. And he made the game-winning shot because he knew, I don't want to get punched in the face again. All right? So, I think Jordan, I think he was right.
I think it's an unusual level of maturity for somebody that age, and something that we definitely, I know I would absolutely not have bet on this, on Keontae, watching him his first 2 years in the league. And then, man, flip the switch, whole new attitude. So, to me, it's not so much a natural progression. That's something specific he worked on with somebody, and the whole mental health thing. And it's not just that, though. And it's also whoever is advising him, whoever he's talking to, he's got a development coach, whatever older players he turns to. Like, he's turned to the right people, but he deserves credit for absorbing it and being able to put it back. Because sometimes people say stuff like that, and you can hear people like, well, they're trying to say the right thing, but they're kind of messing this up. Or they're trying to suck up to somebody, but it sounded genuine coming from him. And you have a finely tuned BS meter. You really do. It's one of your best qualities. So when this kind of stuff resonates with you, I really think he's really in the right groove. He's really on point. Because you would come in here otherwise and you'd be like, oh, come on, please. There was a time, it was probably when Yak was just starting, or maybe it was when Yak was still listening to high school. It was a while ago. There were like 3 or 4 years in a row told, this group of guys really gets along. You're like, what is going on in the locker room? You were selling that really hard. This group is really going to get along.
Now Duff protests too much.
Yeah, you told us the last group was going to get along. I don't know when that was. It's like 2008, 10, 12, somewhere in there. I don't know. It was a long time ago. And you were. I remember hearing that and thinking, what is going on? And you literally walked in the next morning. What is going on? Why are we getting sold this again? So the fact that this is landing the way it lands with you, and it's not just you, it's landing this way with other people too. But I mean, that speaks well, and it's the kind of thing that should excite people, because you need the tangible stuff. You need the 6'10" guy who can shoot it. In this case, 7 foot. With Markkanen and with Jackson. But you also need the guys who get the leadership, the guys who are going to be good role players. You need the whole thing. You can't just ride one star player to a championship.
Overwhelmed? That was me with diabetes. Hey, I'm Jabron. Between teaching and coaching, managing diabetes felt like an extra job. With the Freestyle Libre 3CGM, I get real-time glucose readings and have the insights to make informed decisions. My life feels lighter now. Learn more at freestylelibre.us.
The views expressed should not be used for medical diagnosis or treatment as a substitute for professional medical advice. Individual circumstances may vary. For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
Best thing that's ever happened to you financially. Go.
Easy. Sold my car on Carvana. Amazing offer.
Really? I hit 200 on the scratcher.
Did the scratcher come to your house and hand you a check?
No.
How many scratchers did you hit to get that? I hit a button on Carvana.com once.
Okay, that's fair.
It's like the lottery, except you always win.
Not like the lottery at all, actually.
Exactly. Inexplicably good. Offers worth bragging about. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.